everybody, my name is Kyle929. Welcome back to another video. Today in this one is going to be my ban list predictions for the August 2024 ban list. And this ban list is looking to be very interesting. A lot of people wanted this ban list to drop before the NAWCQ and the EUWCQs, but they actually announced in advance that they were going to actually drop it in late August so they can see the impact of Infinite Forbidden on the metagame, more specifically the Fiendsmith cards is what they were talking about. So a lot of people are actually kind of ready for this ban list to actually drop. It's been a while since we've had a ban list, and a lot of people do not like the format we're currently in and hope the ban list can change that fact as well. So I assume they'll probably drop the ban list after YCS Sacramento, but knowing Konami, they'll probably drop it during the YCS itself, because for some reason they like to drop it during YCSs, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. But yeah, without further ado, let's actually get into my predictions, shall we? So we're going to start off with the archetypal cards here. We're going to start off with Snake Eyes. So there's a lot of things you can do with Snake Eyes. There's a lot of cards you could hit. Now, in my opinion, I don't think Poplar or Oak are going to get hit whatsoever. I think these cards are fine. Maybe you can hit Popular, but I don't think you do. I think this is probably fine to stay at 3. The real question is what the hell they do with Snake Eyes Ash and Flamberg. Now, if you want to straight up just kill the deck, you could just ban Flamberg, to be honest. Fuck this card. This card is kind of everything for the archetype. It gets a spell, it gets removal, it gets, like, you know, get IP into the spell trap zone and then, you know, do it during your opponent's turn. You can also, it's your follow-up for Snake Eyes as well, so it's kind of what makes Snake Eyes get their follow-up and then just kill you on the crackback if you can't kill them. So this is kind of everything for the deck right now. So if you actually ban this card, it hinders Snake Eyes a lot. So if they actually want to do this, they could just ban Flamberg and just call it a day. Will they do that? I don't know. I think they should. I want to see what Snake Eyes does without Flamberg, and you can keep Ash to 3. But I think you should also limit Ash, because this card is fucking annoying as fuck as well. Fuck this card. I think even with Flamberg ban, I think this card would still be very powerful. So yeah, we should probably limit this card as well. Seems like I'm going after Snake Eyes a lot. It feels like I'm hitting him a lot, but they've been tier 0. They've been in this format a lot. They're still the most dominant deck in the format, and this has been this since Phantom Nightmare way back in February. So I think they will go after this deck. Remember, tier limit was tier 0, and they fucking destroyed that deck. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing this as well. Now let's actually talk about the Diabellstar package. Now, I think this is where you should go light. I think OSS should be at 3. I don't think it's that much of a problem, especially if you ban Flamberg. I think OSS can stay at 3. I think Diabellstar can also stay at 3, but I think Wanted should be limited as well. I kind of like the Diabellstar package to be like kind of like a splashable engine for level 1 fires, so I think that should still exist, but I think Wanted should go to 1 just because of that draw effect in the graveyard is kind of annoying. So only having the 1 Wanted and having the Wanted to recycle the OSS is kind of annoying as well. So I think just keeping Wanted at 1 is probably fine, and, you know, keeping the Diabellstar at 3 and OSS at 3, perfectly fine with me. But putting Wanted to 1, I think Wanted's more of the problem than Diabellstar or OSS is. So yeah, that's how I would kind of go after Snake Eyes. I would ban the Flamberg, limit the Ash, limit Wanted just because it can be a splashable card in any level 1 fire deck, and then keeping Diabellstar and OSS to 3. Again, I don't think you need to hit Oak or Poplar whatsoever, so I think those are fine to stay where they're at. Now on to the Fiendsmith card. So them waiting to see the impact of Infinite Forbidden is telling me they're probably going to hit Fiendsmith in some way. Now, I don't think they're going to directly hit Fiendsmith, but I do think they'll go after it somewhat. So the 2 cards I'm thinking of is Moon of the Close Sky and Fabled Lori. These are kind of the 2 cards. I'll put them in the semis, just kind of put them in their little things there. So which one do they go after? They could just go after Moon. This fixes the Fiendsmith problem. Moon is kind of the reason why it's splashable in every deck right now, is because of Moon of the Close Sky. So you could just ban Moon. That would fix your problem. Keep Laurel to 3. That would fix the problem of Fiendsmith, in my opinion. But I don't think they're going to do that. They could just ban Fable Lori, because this is kind of their best target for Fiendsmith Tract. So they could just ban Fable Lori in that case. But I don't think Fable Lori deserves to be banned, to be honest with you. I think this card is perfectly fine. I truly believe that. I think Moon is more of a problem than Fable Lori is. But I also don't see him going after Moon, because Moon is more of a newer card in the format, so I don't think they're going to go after Moon. So even though I just said they're probably going to go after Fiendsmith, I can go either way. They're either going to go after Moon or Lori, or they're just going to go after some of the extra deck staples that the Fiendsmiths can make, something like the Apo and the Beatrice, which we'll talk about in just one bit. So I think they're not going to go after these two. I think these two probably will stay in the format. Now let's talk about Yugioh and Tempai. Now, I think if you go after Snake Eyes, you have to go after the second and third best deck in the format. I think, was someone knocking at my door? No, no. Sorry about that cut there. I thought someone was knocking at my door, but I guess no one was. But what I was saying was, if you go after the Snake Eyes cards, I think you also have to go after Yugioh and Tempai is what I think you should go after as well, just because they're the second and third best deck. So if you hit the best deck, these are just going to ascend to the first and second best decks in the format. So I think you also have to go after these decks as well. So my opinion, I think we'll start off with the Yugioh, obviously. I think they should just limit Phantom. Phantom is kind of the reason why the deck is insane right now. I know this is more of a newer card, and like I was saying, they are less likely to go after newer cards, but Phantom is a fucking problem. Phantom's the whole reason why Yugioh is so good right now is because of Phantom. So if you put a limitation on Phantom, it makes it where they only have the one Phantom to play with, so they can't use like a second one to use as link material or something like that. It makes it where hand trapping them is actually effective, because yes, they do waste the Phantom, but they don't have a second Phantom to make just to make another one for your opponent's turn, so they have to put it back in the extra deck somehow with like a Soul Rage or a Nightmare Throw. And usually they're using Nightmare Throw and going first to do their combos, so they're not, usually it's just a Soul Rage to put it back. So like, I don't know, I think you probably should limit Phantom. Phantom is really a problem, and having the second one just to use as link material is kind of insane as well, so I think this should just be limited. I think that should probably be fine. And opening is technically another card you can go after. Like, you can limit the opening, because opening does a lot for the deck as well, but I think if you limit Phantom, I think opening should be fine at 3. Again, Yugioh wasn't really doing that much when Phantom was not around, so if you actually hit Phantom, I don't think Yugioh, like, obviously the Fiendsmith stuff changes stuff as well, so if you go after Fiendsmith, that also impacts the Yugioh deck as well, but I think this is how it should be. Keep opening to 3 and leave, put Phantom to 1. And now on to the Tempai cards. There's only 2 cards that are really considering getting hit, and that is Sangan Summoning and Sangan Kaiman. I think the spells are the problem for the deck. I think the monsters are perfectly fine. I think it's really the spells, and to be honest with you, they should limit Summoning and then keep Kaiman to 3, to be honest with you. I think the problem with the field spell, Sangan Summoning, is it makes everything unaffected. If it was just a search spell, then it'd be okay. But the fact that it makes your guys unaffected in the main phase 1 makes it where interaction is kind of just non-existent against Tempai, especially since they're playing a shit ton of board breakers, which is another thing I could talk about. I think they should go after board breakers in this list as well, but I just not going to talk about it because there's like a low chance they actually go after those board breakers in this ban list. Maybe like next ban list they go after board breakers and stuff like that. But that's also a problem when it comes to the deck. I think you should just limit the field spell, makes it where your opponent can actually interact with the Tempai monsters. So yeah, that probably makes sense for it to happen. I think this should be just limited to 1 and keep Sangan Kaiman to 3. And then Runic is technically my last archetypal card. I don't think Runic is that much of a problem right now. I know a lot of people hate like Runic Stun and shit like that, but I don't think they're going to hit Runic, to be honest with you. I think they're just going to keep Tip at 3 and keep Fountain at 3 as well. Now on to the more generic guys. We'll talk about Arch Nemesis Protos. Technically, I could put Colossus with this as well. I don't think this card should be legal in this format. Honestly, fuck this card. This card, I don't know why they brought it off in the first place, because Banshee exists, the rank 4. So if you can just get to a Banshee, like it searches you flag special, search Protos, and then Protos can just win the game by itself, which is just annoying as fuck. So I think they should just reban this card. I think Colossus is probably fine just because Dark Ruler, Droplet, and Imperm exist, and technically you can make that argument for Protos the Imperm, but like, at least Colossus doesn't have protection. Like, this card is just, it's a lingering effect as well. I don't like Protoss. I think Protoss should just be rebanned. I think Colossus is fine to stay, but Protoss, I think they should just reban this fucking card. Fuck this card. Card shouldn't exist. Now on to the extra deck guys that I think they should go after. IP and Apo. I'll kind of put these together. I think they should just ban Apo. I think this is a long time coming. I think they probably wanted to do this in the last list, but they couldn't because Apo was getting reprinted in the Legendary Collection, or the 25th anniversary, the second one. So they couldn't really ban Apo with the reprint on its way. So, but now that the reprint is here, I think Apo is on the chopping block. I think a lot of people have been seeing this coming. Apo is probably going to get banned in the next list. But if they do go after IP, I don't think they should go after IP or Apo. Sorry, I think if they go after Apo, I don't think they should go after IP, because IP would be really the only extra, like, generic extra deck guy left in the game that any deck can play. And yes, IP into SP is fucking annoying as fuck, but it is beatable. It's not beatable when you have like Apo to protect as well. Like if you have IP and Apolloza, it's kind of annoying, but if Apo is banned, I think IP can be perfectly fine. I don't think they should go after this card in this list. Next thing up is Albion the Sanctifier. Yeah, this probably should be banned. Honestly, Gimmick Puppet is just annoying to deal with. Fuck this card. This card should not exist in this format. I think Branded has a lot of cool things they could do, but they kind of have to tunnel on to Albion because Gimmick Puppet does just win the game for them immediately, right? So this makes it where Branded does just have to play like fair now, like your opponent now gets to interact with your guys, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think they should just ban this card. Fuck this card, should not exist. Calamities, another card that should just not exist. Technically, if you want to ban Crimson Dragon in this slot instead of Calamities, I'm perfectly fine with that as well, but I think Calamities is just a problem in and out of itself, so I think we should just ban this card. And then, like, Crimson can, like, technically Centurions kind of need the Crimson Dragon, so I kind of don't want to ban the Crimson just because Centurion needs it, and, like, something like Light Swarm builds as well kind of use it as well. So I think they should just go after the fucking Hot Red Calamities, because fuck this card. This card should not exist. Fuck this card. Promethean. We'll start with Promethean. I think Promethean is fine. I think it's, again, more of the Snake Eyes cards that are the problem. Technically, Tempai can use Promethean as well. But, again, I don't think this card is that much of a problem. It's fine to stay. Zealantis, this was in the early talks before Nationals of maybe getting banned. But I think since Fiendsmith came out, a lot of people are now cutting this card. So the ban talks have been less and less. And honestly, I don't think it deserves a ban anyways. I think it's perfectly fine as well. Beatrice. Yeah, this card should probably go. Honestly, if we're going to, like, not hit Fiendsmith in any way, yeah, Beatrice should probably go. Again, like, Apo and Beatrice, like, the extra deck hits is what I'm more expecting them to kind of hit when it comes to Fiendsmith. So, yeah, I think this makes sense. Ban Beatrice. This card has become a problem. And now that there is a generic level 6 engine that everyone can use, this card just becomes a problem. I don't like this card. Fuck this card. Deserves to go bye-bye. Poor BAA players. But, I don't know. This card deserves to leave. I don't think this card deserves to be in the game anymore. Pot of Prosperity. It's always in ban list talks because this card is very powerful, but I don't think they're going to hit it. Usually, I'm the guy that talks about, yes, they need to hit Prosperity because Prosperity is a dumb card, right? But I think when it comes to this list in this format, honestly, Pot is fine. Only, like, really Tempai and, like, road decks can play Pot of Prosperity. Like, the top decks like Snake Eyes and Yugioh can't really play it, but if we are going after those decks, then maybe you do hit the Pot. But honestly, I don't think Pot needs to be hit. I think this is perfectly fine right now. Maybe later on, they probably will have to hit Pot once again. I'll be on the conversation again of them limiting Pot, but right now, this ban list specifically, I don't think they're going to hit Pot. Dimension Shifter. Now onto the hand traps I think they might go after. I think this card should be limited. I'm also a guy that usually says they're not going to go after Shifter. Even though everyone talks about they should go after Shifter, I'm usually the one guy is like, hey, I'm sorry, they're not going to hit Shifter. But my opinions have changed. I think Shifter should be limited. Fuck this card. This card is annoying as fuck. I don't think they're going to outright ban it, but I think they will limit it where you don't see it every fucking game, which is annoying as fuck, where you have to deal with it once in a while kind of thing. So I think this is fine to be in the limited section. Mole Chummy, the new one, the new Maxi. I don't think they're going to hit it. It's a new card. Technically, this is worse Maxi, but it does a lot for this in this format. But I think this Maxi is okay. I think it's fine. I think it is. I think the next maxi that's coming, the next Molchummy that's coming out in the Abyss set, I think that will be a problem. I think this Molchummy is perfectly fine to be in the game. Gamma, why not? Bring it back. It at 1 is doing nothing. Why not? Bring it back to 2. This is a really good hand trap, so it is kind of a problem. But put it to semi. See what it does at 2. See if people actually play it at 2 before putting it back to 3. See what happens. I would love to see what happens. Put this card at 2. Now on to the Floodgates. Anti-Spell. Honestly, they should just outright ban this card. If you want my hot take, which is not really a hot take, but Peekaboo should be banned, Rivalry should be banned, Gozen Match should be banned. All these cards. Even though Gozen Match is technically doing nothing, I don't think these cards should exist in this. I don't think these Floodgates should exist in the game. And yes, these are already at 1, but they just become Saki 1-ofs. Like Rivalry has been used a lot in this format just to automatically win games against something like Snake Eyes, right? So honestly, I think they should just ban the Floodgates instead of limiting them, right? With the exception of Skill Drain. I think Skill Drain is the one where you can keep at 1 just because, yes, drawing it is cool, but people can play around Skill Drain. The Rivalry, the Peekaboo, the Gozen, people can't really play around those cards, which is kind of annoying, right? Same thing with like Anti-Spell. So I think these Floodgates should be banned, and then Skill Drain is, I think they should still hit, but I don't think they need to ban Skill Drain because, again, there is, like, people can play around Skill Drain still. Like if you verse Yubel, they draw the Nightmare Pain, they can still pretty much kill you under Skill Drain, right? So, yeah, I think Skill Drain should get hit. It should go to limited, but I don't think it deserves to be banned. And honestly, even though these Floodgates haven't really been doing anything except for, like, Rivalry and Anti-Spell, I think these should be banned because these Floodgates can't be really played around. If your deck cannot play around Rivalry, then you just automatically lose the game, right? So, yeah, I think these cards should just be outright banned, even though technically Peekaboo and Gozen are technically doing nothing. They're in the same boat of Rivalry where they're sometimes just automatic wins against the right deck. So I don't think they're Floodgates that should exist. Are they going to do that? Probably not. Oh, you can't even see it because my camera is kind of covering up. But yeah, there's Gozen Match and Peekaboo behind my camera. But yeah, I think they should just ban those cards as well. So I'll kind of minimize my camera here. Or I can move my camera technically. But yeah, I think we'll just minimize it. So if you kind of just skip to the end of the video, you kind of see what my predictions are. Here are my predictions. This is what I think they should do in the next list. I think they should just say, fuck Floodgates, ban them, fuck them. Beatrice is a problem. Calamities is a problem. Albion's a problem. I think those cards should go. Apollosa, I think it's time for it to go as well. I think this ban list kind of makes sense. Again, you can probably make an argument for a lot of these cards you don't want to hit. Like, maybe you don't have to hit Ash if we're banning the Flamberg, right? But I don't know. I think that's just what my predictions are. So yeah, I was kind of speeding up at the end there. I was kind of like talking fast a lot through the video. So those are my ban list predictions. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.